different metabolic pathway. That's right, approaching from 4 different angles may very well be why so many people find such wonderful relief. If you have back pain, shoulder, hip, neck, knee pain, or foot pain from exercise or just getting older, you should order the 3-week Quick Start 2, discounted to only $19.95, to see if it will work for you too. I think it could. Give your body what it needs to heal itself. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384, ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384.
Tune in on Friday mornings to hear The Construction Connection, a collaborative effort between Joe Catanacci with the Big Talker FM and Cameron Moore, the executive officer of the Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association. You start the conversation and we bring you the answers as we take a regional, in-depth look at growth-related topics and issues centered around the residential and commercial development and building industry. The Construction Connection, Friday mornings on the Big Talker FM.
Bringing you the best local talk radio shows, Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Welcome, everybody, to All Things Brunswick. Hey, Joe, how you doing? This is Bill Moore, and bringing you another episode of All Things Brunswick on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. Keep tuning in and listening to us, because we're... All right, we may have a little technical difficulty here. We'll see. Okay. Well, I'll keep talking while you're working over there, sir. We had a interesting weekend. I'm going to start out very quickly with a quick talk about Dogs for Donation this weekend. The GOP is and Brunswick ran a activity this weekend where we literally took 3 different sites and we asked people to bring in donations to help the homeless. In exchange, we gave them a hot dog and a drink, and we did a magnificent collection of things. I'm really, really proud of the people that did the work and all the people that showed up to help out, especially in that heat. So if we have time, we'll do later talk on it later, but go into it further as we have some issues.
After the guests, am I coming in?
So far,
No.
So far it's a single show, sir, but we'll get to you. Anyway, as we move along here, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about Dogs for Donations as we wait to have this fixed.
Yeah.
We actually we did for 2 groups. We worked with First Fruits, which is a ministry that works in New Hanover, but covers New Hanover and Northern Brunswick. And they do a lot of good work. And then we also work with the Coalition for the Homeless, which is out of the Shiloh area. So we were able to raise some money, but a lot of good clothing and a lot of good food that'll be distributed to the homeless through these 2 organizations. So I'm very proud of the people, and especially Larry Blank, who is the vice chair of the county. And Larry organized the thing and made it look as well as it did. And Larry, I want to thank you for all your hard work. And, you make me look good as the chair, but, I know the hard work comes from you, sir. So we want to thank you for that.
And we got to thank Mary for setting it all up and coordinating it as well.
Well, yeah, Mary is away dealing with some family issues.
Right.
So we're looking to have her come back soon, and we do wish her well with what she's doing. So with that being said, we're going to very shortly have Representative Charlie Miller joining us on the air. We're just waiting for the connection, and
Yes.
we'll talk about some things with Charlie. But what did you do this weekend while I'm waiting, since I've covered what I've done?
See, I mowed the lawn, waxed the car, took out the garbage a few times. Nothing exciting, unfortunately. But I didn't go to the Pepperoni Grill this time.
You didn't?
No,
That's terrible.
No,
But you did stop by for a hot dog.
I did go to the airport and make a donation and had a delicious hot dog and a half, I think, and
a good drink.
And a good non-alcoholic drink. Yes, that's true.
So we're looking forward to that. one of the things that I'd like to share with everybody, and this is the first because no one has actually heard this because I only set it up on the way over to the meeting.
Okay.
Congressman Budd, who is running for the U.S. Senate,
right.
I had a conversation with his office today, and he's consented on the 17th of September to come to Brunswick County and be the guest speaker at a steak and wine dinner that we're going to run as a fundraiser for the county. So This is news that basically you and I and anybody listening has now heard.
And the thousands listening, yes.
Maybe the millions if we're good. Well,
we're still
waiting for a connection there, but something else I'd want to make a comment on, and I know he's a friend both of our speaker Charlie Miller and
the calls are going straight to voicemail. I'm unable to reach him. I will continue to try.
That's not a good thing as we talk.
The wonders of science.
The wonders of sometimes the best plans of mice and men sometimes go astray.
Right. Well,
but
do you tap dance or sing or do anything?
You don't want me to sing. It can't get that bad that I have to sing. If the show gets that bad, we might as well go off the air and save time. But
when I was in church choir, they made me stay in the gym and practice my foul shots while the rest of them went to the sanctuary to practice in the choir.
We have someone on the call-in line, but it doesn't match the number you gave me if you want to take the caller.
Let's see who it is. Is this Charlie Miller?
It is. Good evening.
Hi, Charlie. It's good to talk to you. We're getting nervous that we couldn't find you, so thank you for coming on.
No. I was waiting on a call. I was told y'all were going to call me, and then I started looking for numbers. So
we had a little bit
y'all
of
are doing good.
We had a technical issue here, which we just resolved about a minute or two, which is why we're delayed getting to you. So I apologize for that, and thank you for coming on with us. Before we get started and talk about some things, I want to extend from our group, and I'm sure from Brunswick people, I know that a friend of yours from Rockingham County just passed away, who's part of the General Assembly. Jerry Carter.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Well, here's your chance, sir.
Representative Jerry Carter. Yeah, Representative Jerry Carter. We got a call this morning that he had passed away. Being a freshman legislator up here, you tend to look to the ones that's been here a little bit longer and for guidance and wisdom. And Jerry was definitely one of those guys. He was a Baptist minister up in Rockingham County, and it's a sad day for all of us here in the General Assembly. So, if you would, please keep Jerry's family in your prayers. And we're just gonna have to deal with it and move on like he would want us to do. And he was a great guy, and we're going to miss him.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I know another friend of mine, Senator Steinberg, had made similar comments from working with Jerry. So we do wish the family of Jerry Carter our best. And, God called him, so he's probably got a General Assembly. He wants to work
General
up
Assembly
there,
up in there, yeah.
You had to look at it that way.
Absolutely.
So
anyway, there's guys up here, when they speak, you tend to listen, and he was definitely one of those that when he spoke, I listened. And
how long
he was just a good person.
How long was he in the Assembly?
I think he had been here at least 2 or 3 terms. He's been here much longer than I have, and which that's not hard to do. But he had been here a while, and everybody thought a lot of him.
He was from Rockingham, correct?
Rockingham County.
Right, Rockingham
County. Yes.
So
okay.
So anyway, my friend, now that we've covered that, and unfortunately, we just want to honor him because I know he was close to you, and he's done a great job up there. So we want to honor him and let people know that he's passed on, and keep him in his prayers. But from on that, my friend, what are you up to in the General Assembly?
I actually just got to Raleigh about 5 o'clock today. Our schedule has been kind of light, with the appropriation chairs working on the budget and finalizing that. We were here one day last week, and we'll be here tomorrow and Thursday. We definitely have votes. So a lot of the bills are coming back from the Senate now for concurrence, and their bills are coming over for votes and stuff. So there's a lot going on. The budget is the biggest thing. And hopefully tomorrow we'll get some. We'll hear where we're at on the numbers and where we're at on our individual requests that each representative has made for the budget. So I'm real anxious to get there tomorrow morning and hit the ground running and make sure the money I've requested is still there. So
Charlie, why don't you explain to our
working hard to do that.
Why don't you explain to our listeners what concurrence means? I'm not sure everyone understands that.
Well, the concurrence is if the House has a bill and we voted it out of the House, it goes to the Senate. The Senate either changes it or leaves it the same, and then they bring it back to us for a concurrence vote. And then once we do that, then it goes to the governor.
When both bodies' bill agrees with each other.
Agree on the bill.
Right.
Correct. And, we could edit the Senate's bills, or they can edit our bills, or add things or take things away. And if we agree, then we concur, and then we voted, and it's gone to the governor. And usually when it goes to him, it's a veto. So we're getting used to that here lately. So we're working hard, but we're trying to get the things there to them as quick as we can.
Are the Democrats buying plane tickets to leave so they can force no quorum and stop you? Like they did in Texas?
No, I've not seen any of that.
Oh, good.
Not seen any of that.
They are. Is it true that he has actually vetoed more bills than anybody in the history of the state?
That's what I hear. I've not looked it up myself, but I have heard that. But he's signed quite a few as well. Pretty much our veteran bills that we're very proud of this session, that I was a primary sponsor on several of. He has signed those, and we're real glad of that. But hopefully once we get the budget done and both chambers concur on the budget, then we can get it over to him. Let's hope he'll sign it.
Yeah, what's interesting, one of the things that you guys get criticized for, Republicans in general, is they haven't given any raises to teachers for years. And the reality is that every time a budget has been vetoed by the governor, there was a 1% to 4% raise for teachers in that budget. And, his answer was right. It was not enough. So therefore, let's give him nothing because we didn't give him everything. That made all the sense in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard all those stories too. Being new, I've not been a part of it. It's my first time, so I have heard those stories, and you're correct in that what you're saying.
What type of bills are you working on or you're sponsoring?
Oh my gosh, probably the biggest thing we're working on right now. I'm on about 90 some bills, either a co-sponsor or a primary sponsor.
Okay.
And probably the most important one right now that we're still working on is House Bill 500, which is a flood and disaster mitigation plan. And what that's going to do is it's all across the state. It's going to clean out rivers, fix flooding issues that we have during storms, and just really do a lot of good things as even dredging, beach renourishment. There's so many things in this bill that we could talk for hours on, but it's a really good deal. It's last I checked, it's up to about $250 million. But you either pay $250 million on the front side, or you pay $1 billion after a storm. So
right, who's against that?
It's something. Nobody.
Oh, okay.
We have a lot of bipartisan support. The Senate seems to be very excited about it as well, and as well as our Democrat folks across the aisle. We have a lot of support for it. So I'm actually a primary on that with Majority Leader John Bale, and we're still working on it. In fact, our staff had meetings this morning tweaking some things, and we'll meet on it again tomorrow.
Okay.
Charlie,
Thanks.
I know
but it's going to bring a lot of money back to our district. It's going to bring, if the bill passes, and if with what I have in that bill, it's going to replace the dams of Bowling Springs. It's going to give beach renourishment money to Oak Island. It's going to stabilize the Southport waterfront. It's going to dredge Carolina Beach's stormwater lake that flooded their whole town after the last storm. So there's a lot of things in there that it's going to help in District 19, but all across the state of North Carolina.
Well, as we all know that, it may be the beach towns, but they're a major fundraiser for this entire state. If we don't have tourists, we're in trouble.
Tourists, right.
And
absolutely. And one thing, Bill, that I've had to learn too is, and I represent 19, and I'm hopefully, if I get what I've asked for in some bills in the budget, I'll bring back about $55 million to our district. And I'm really proud of that, being a freshman legislator. And, I'm just really excited about bringing that kind of money back to our district if everything passes. But, I have friends in the mountains now, representatives, and they have issues that are just as important. So, I can't keep blinders on. I got to, I need their vote and they need my vote. And that's why we all have to work together to get the things we need all across the state.
We are supposed to be one state.
Right, not the East and West. Is there any reason that the governor might not sign it?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of good things in there that there's a lot of bipartisan support on, and I think there's some things in there that he's wanting, and I'm very optimistic. And from what I hear, a lot of folks that's been here a lot longer than me are very optimistic that he'll sign it. So we're hoping to get that done in the next couple of weeks.
Charlie, I know you mentioned earlier that you're working very hard to get veterans bills passed. You want to address that for a second and what you're up to?
Well, we were, I think it's House Bill 384. I can't remember numbers. There's over 900 and some bills that we filed in the House, so I can't remember all the numbers. But the title of the bill was No Veteran Left Behind, and I was a primary sponsor on that. When I first got to Raleigh, I met a lady by the name of Sarah Verardo and her husband, Michael. And she is the executive director of the Independence Fund. She actually lives in Union County. And to hear their story where he was, I think a 2-time Purple Heart recipient. And, he's missing a couple of limbs now, or missing a leg and very limited use of his arm. But anyhow, his story was just so compelling and it just touched my heart. And, she approached us about a bill about No Veterans Left Behind. And what that bill is it's going to provide funds to local sheriff's offices to train their officers on different veteran issues, such as, mental issues, PTSD, homelessness. I mean, it's going to help officers recognize things that maybe they wouldn't normally recognize. I've been an officer for 33 years, and there's been issues where I have dealt with veterans that with this training would help me know that, hey, he don't need to be arrested, but he needs help. He needs help. And, whether it be a facility or VA or even the Independence Fund that Sarah runs, she's helped me with 2 veterans in our county already that she's got issues resolved in no time that these folks have been working on for months. And they're just a very good ally and going to be a partner to law enforcement. And I think there's about 12 or 14 sheriff's offices across the state that will receive, as a pilot program, this funding to get their officers trained by the Independence Fund. So we're really excited about that. Another bill was making April 24th Wounded Warrior Day in North Carolina. And, that was probably the most moving, when you first walk into the chambers, and Bill, you've been there with me, and you walk into the chambers, I mean, it's a awesome feeling, but probably the most moving day I saw in the chambers during this session was on April 24th. They brought, I think there's 10 or 12 veterans, to include Michael Verardo and Sarah and them, into the chambers, and they came rolling in wheelchairs, and I'm telling you, there wasn't a dry eye in the chambers. And we voted on a bill to make April 24th North Carolina Wounded Warrior Day. And after we voted on the bill and adjourned, we followed those guys out of the chambers, met with the senators, and all of us walked together across the streets of the mall where the governor was there to sign the bill. And it was just a really good day. And it wasn't about Democrats or Republicans. It was about supporting our veterans and these wounded warriors. And it was just an awesome day. And I'm very proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, especially when you start talking about people who signed that blank check to the country saying I'll give everything, including my life or limbs, whatever, as appropriate. And we have ignored them much too often. As a retired officer myself, I understand that. I work with people, and I'm very, very glad that you've taken those actions to support those people who've given their all for us.
Absolutely. And, somebody asked me not long ago, said, Charlie, what do you take away from this session more than anything else? And I said, it's really about what I've taken away from it is how veteran friendly this session's been. There's been several bills, whether it's their retirement income tax or or the Wounded Warrior or the No Veteran Left Behind. There's just been a lot of bills that's been veteran oriented, and also law enforcement and first responder. I really expected it to be hammer type law enforcement or first responder from the other side, but they've really not been that way. And it's been very supportive of all of our military and first responders and law enforcement. So it's been very heartwarming to see that.
If we can shift gears for a little second, my friend, I know that you used to be a member of the Board of Education, so I know you're well-versed on everything going on in education. I understand that the state within 9 months is going to be turning out new standards for both science and health. You had any information on that? Have you heard about that yet?
I've heard about it, Bill, but I have not looked at that yet. I actually told my legislative assistant, Rachel Reese, that we wanted to get copies of that. I have a really good relationship with Catherine Truitt, our state superintendent. So I want to get those standards and review them myself, and then talk with her about them.
On a side note,
I really have not seen it up yet.
Okay, on a side note, for both Joe and I, would you wish Rachel congratulations on her upcoming wedding?
I will. She's very excited. Her and David Capon will be getting married on September the 18th. So I'm looking forward to traveling to the mountains of North Carolina to see that. And
they're both very special people. I've met them both, and they're absolutely very special people.
And she's phenomenal. She keeps me on track when I get here, and even when I'm not here, we talk every day, probably 2 or 3 times a day, and she's very good at talking to our constituents in District 19 and taking care of issues. So I'm very proud to have her.
I am. You do cover 2 counties, Charlie, and it's almost it's almost 2 different worlds at this point. For example, with boards of education, we have a board in Brunswick that has been very responsive to the people, and we consider very responsive to our needs. And yet you have just across a bridge, which sometimes we consider cutting, but across that bridge, there's chaos. Actually, it's about the only word I can give you of what's going on over there. So, why the difference, my friend? That's a tough question. I know that.
No, it's not. I mean, you're right. It has been chaotic over there, and I've been following some of it. But being a high school principal, it's all about transparency and being open with the people and listening to the people. So I hate to judge what they're doing or not doing, but I know there's some issues there, and it don't seem to be getting any better. But being a school board member for 14 years, when you're deciding what affects folks' children, that's probably the most important thing you'll do, and you've got to listen to the parents. You may not always agree. I never always agreed with parents, but I always listened to them, and I told them my opinion. And I just think there needs to be more transparency there from what I've seen. But it's sad that they've got to this point, and I wish them the best. I know there's a couple of folks on there that I know personally, and they're struggling right now. So
yeah, I hate it for them. I hope for their own sake and for the sake of the kids. It was something interesting that I read the other day, which it was funny because if you hear that commercial that's out there with Jane Fonda saying, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to the left, and it's out there. What I find fascinating is, as far as education is concerned, COVID was the worst thing that ever happened to education, because by putting the kids home with the parents, they actually found out what was going on in the schools, and they're not liking it, and they're coming back to fix it. So this may be a blessing for the school districts waking up and doing the right thing. And I know that Brunswick's in that direction, and I agree with you. I hope that for the sake of New Hanover kids and families and their board, that they come to the same conclusion that we do in Brunswick and other counties, and do what's right for the kids, and to heck with everybody else.
That's exactly right. And that's what I've seen. I think they've attacking each other, and at the end of the day, you've got to ask, or when you're sitting there in a board meeting, is this the best thing for kids? That's what you're there for. You're not there for yourself. And I think that there's too much too much of that going on, and they need to get back to what they're there for, and that's the children.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So Brunswick has already dealt with critical race theory board, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what the fight is in New Hanover, that they are fighting about that. They want it in the schools. Is that the problem?
Well, no, they haven't decided which way to go with it yet.
It's more than that?
Yeah, I think there's more. Yeah, I think there's more issues, not just the CRT. I think there's just a lot of issues there from what I've seen and heard in the news. But
so it's all self-aggrandizement and what's in it for me, for being selfish?
I don't know. I think there's just people with different opinions.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's an issue. And fortunately for us in Brunswick, the board tends to work well with each other. They always have to agree, but on basic principles and values, they work with each other and they do
respectfully,
agree. Yeah, and so they get it done. I think that's something that has to yet develop in New Hanover, and hopefully it will for the sake of everybody there. Am I doing well there, sir? Charlie?
Do what?
Am I doing well with that statement, sir?
Yes, you are. And I wish them the best as well. And, I hope they can get back on track and get things taken care of because, the school's just around the corner.
Yeah, it is. By the way, do you have any clue if the governor's going to do anything about forcing this mask bit again? Because I know this week he passed it to the locals again.
Yeah.
But one of the hooks on it is if someone comes down with COVID, anybody within 6 feet of them is quarantined.
Wow.
So you get someone on a bus. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Your guess is as good as mine what he's going to do. I know the same time you do.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but he don't call us and tell us. So I don't know what to expect from it. My personal opinion is as far as masks and stuff, I feel like that's a parent's choice, and
I agree.
I'll leave it at that.
That's the way it should be, a parent's choice. Yep.
And my
daughter is a teacher, and she taught in the public schools for several years. And when this COVID hit last time, she actually left public schools and went to a Christian school where the kids were in school. And she took my granddaughter, who's 9 now, and put her in school, and they have not had an issue. And
yes.
So, I strongly feel it's a parent's choice on what they do with their children.
I do too, because the bigger issue long term is, COVID-19 means there were 18 COVIDs before it, and they're going to be another 18 in the next 18 or 19 or 20 years.
Right.
So are we just going to do this forever, or are we just going to bite the bullet and live with it?
Or live with masks on our face for the rest of our lives. Yeah.
And that's something we just can't deal with.
No.
But anything else you want to say, sir, about what you're up to? And I also want to point out to everybody that you're all over the place, my friend. There's not a meeting that's going on someplace. No, you don't try to be. You are. You're everywhere, and I very much appreciate that, and so do the people around you. Because if something's going on, you're the first one there, and I appreciate that.
Well, I try to be at most stuff. I love being home in the district, I try to get to as many things as I can. I had 2 events on Saturday night. One downtown Wilmington NRA convention, which I enjoyed. I was only able to stay about an hour and a half, and then I went to another event. It was actually in Pender County, but it was a lot of folks from Wilmington there that supports Calvary University. So I enjoyed being at that. And, I try to be as many things as I can. Went to an event at Carolina Beach not long ago during the 4th of July. I really enjoyed that. And, there's a lot of folks, once this session ends, then we'll go into redistricting sometime in October is what the speaker said last I heard. And, I've been pretty adamant with the leaders here that I don't want my district to change, because I've made a lot of good friends in New Hanover County. Probably the very first one I met who is my go-to person in New Hanover County is Kathy Koza. And, she kind of headed up my campaign over there and did a phenomenal job, her and a group of ladies. And, the New Hanover County Republican women, the Lower Cape Fear Republican women, it's just a great group of people over there, and I've got a lot of friends there now, and I don't want to lose that connection because they're really good folks, and they work hard for all the candidates, but not just me.
And I'm going to get a last-minute plug-in on what you're also involved in, because you've even actually volunteered to come on the 28th of August to a regional TARS meeting at Brunswick and talk to the kids from New Hanover and from Brunswick and from other counties that are going to be there. So again, that's just an example of how committed you are to what you're doing to kids.
And I love talking to kids and love being around kids. And this group is so important because they're going to be the next legislators. I'm not going to be here forever. You're not going to be there forever. And we've got to keep these kids on the right track and so they can take our place. You ever heard the saying, train your replacement?
Mm-hmm.
And I fully believe in that. No matter what job you're in, you need to have somebody ready to go when you're ready to leave there. And these kids are our future. And we got a great group of kids in Brunswick, and I look forward to meeting, or I have met some of the ones in Hanover, so I look forward to seeing them all together.
And by the way, you give me a chance to give a shout out to Elizabeth Nutley, who was won the state chair position and the treasurer. She's now the state chair representing Brunswick at the state CHARS level. Wow. So Elizabeth, great job.
I saw her yesterday and congratulated her on that. We actually attend the same church, but I actually saw her yesterday for the first time and congratulated her. She's a good girl.
She is a good girl. Before we have to wrap up, sir, is there anything you want to say?
No, I just appreciate it. It's raining in Raleigh. I drove in rain all the way up here from the coast, so it's coming down here, and I'm gonna go grab some dinner.
Thank you for coming. It's Charlie Miller from District 19, which is a combination of Brunswick and New Hanover. We thank you for coming on, and please, Charlie, don't be a stranger.
I won't. And also, just to let you know, I have full intentions running again in 2022, and more to come on that.
And we expect you to run.
Yeah, well, you better.
Oh, I plan to. And let me give a shout out to my wife. I'm going to at least 2 days a week, 2 nights a week. And, my wife, Patty, I couldn't do it without her. And just want to give her a shout out and thank her for that.
We used to say in the military, and it applies to being a police officer and a politician, those that are married to us also serve.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She does. And trust me, she gives me her opinion too.
Oh, yeah. That I understand.
She don't mind doing that.
All right. Thank you. Charlie Miller again, District 19. Thanks for calling in, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Miller, your state representative in the North Carolina House. Just wanted to say thank you for listening. If you get a chance to go on Facebook and search Representative Charlie Miller to receive my exclusive legislative updates to keep you up to date with all of what's happening in Raleigh. You can also sign up for my newsletter to have a direct line of information straight from the Capitol. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Paid for by the committee to elect Charlie Miller for NC House.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you enjoy working out? Like most, you probably said 1 or 2. What if there was a place where you could go not only to get a great workout, but enjoy doing it? At Full Circle Fitness, our members look forward to coming in. Not only do they get a great workout, but they have fun doing it. Our coaches will guide you through a safe, effective workout tailored to you and your level of ability. Get started today. Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350.
Leland needs new, fresh leadership. We need Jason Gaver, a husband, father, veteran, and small business owner, a proven leader who is engaged in our community. Jason's only agenda is to shape a positive future for the town where his daughter will grow up. He has a servant's heart and the strength to be an independent voice. Jason Gaver is the new leader we need. Visit jasongaver.com to learn more. Paid for by the committee to elect Jason Gaver.
Welcome back to All Things Brunswick.
Yes, and our next guest is Anita Hartwell, the Director of Veteran Affairs
For Brunswick County.
for Brunswick County, All Things Brunswick.
Is she on the line yet? Or we? Okay. Anita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome to All Things Brunswick.
Hi, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you tonight. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you on the show. And why don't we start out by telling people
what you do?
Sure. Well, I'll talk to you about our office and the services we provide our veteran residents and their family members here in Brunswick County. The mission of the Brunswick County Veteran Service Office is to serve as an advocate for the veterans and dependents of Brunswick County in the presentation, processing, proof, and establishment of claims, privileges, rights, and benefits as they may be entitled under federal, state, and local laws and regulations. The Brunswick County Veteran Service Office is actually a county government office. We're not a part of the Department of Veterans Affairs, commonly known as the VA, as many people mistake us to be. Our office is in operation today thanks to our county commissioners. Currently, the Department of Veterans Affairs statistically estimates the veterans population in Brunswick County to be 14,671. We believe this number to be higher, especially with the growth our county has seen. Every day we speak to new veterans who've moved into our county. Last fiscal year, our monthly averages were 41 new clients added, 190 clients assisted in person, 686 phone calls, and 245 emails responded to each month. We currently have 3 full-time employees, including myself, to assist the almost 15,000 veterans here in the county. As you can imagine, we stay extremely busy and do our best to respond promptly to our clients. Our department is located in Building F at the Government Center in Bolivia. Everyone's time is valuable, so we schedule appointments for clients to come into the office. Scheduling appointments helps to ensure they're prepared with what they need to bring with them and gives us time to review their case to better prepare for how best to assist them with their claims. Our main purpose is to provide information and assistance and to serve as advocates to Brunswick County veterans and their family members in applying for benefits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, as well as for local and state veterans benefits. We do our best to make a positive, meaningful difference in the lives of the veterans and their family members by helping them obtain benefits. There are 7 main programs offered by the VA, and they are compensation, pension, health care, education, home loan guarantees, insurance, and burial survivor benefits. And I'll briefly explain the 3 main programs that we work with every day.
Thank you.
First is
We're just agreeing.
The first, okay. The first is compensation, and this is given for disabilities that are related to the veteran's military service. The veteran must have a current diagnosed disability that relates to their military service in one of 4 ways. The first is through a direct injury or medical diagnosis on active duty. The second is through aggravation of a pre-existing condition where the veteran's service aggravated their condition beyond its normal progression. The third is through presumption, where the veteran had some type of exposure in service, and the VA has presumed that exposure to cause certain disabilities. And then the fourth is through secondary service connection, where an existing service-connected disability has caused another condition to develop. Now I just want to take you back to the presumptive aspects of claims. We see this all the time in Vietnam veterans especially. There's many different medical conditions on the Agent Orange presumptive list, many of which are cancers. The most common conditions we see in Vietnam veterans are type 2 diabetes mellitus, ischemic heart disease, which is also known as coronary artery disease, where the veteran has blockages leading to the heart, or they may have had stents placed or had a heart attack, prostate cancer, lung cancer, Parkinson's disease, B-cell leukemias, and the VA just recently added bladder cancer, hypothyroidism, and Parkinsonism or Parkinson-like conditions for those veterans that don't have an official diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. Presumptive conditions for Gulf War veterans who served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations.
Can I ask?
If their illness, sure.
How do you differentiate, like you said, lung cancer? The guy smokes 3 packs a day. That isn't a service-related injury. How do you
No, it's
differentiate?
not. But the VA doesn't differentiate. If the veteran served in Vietnam, where they were exposed to Agent Orange, they are presuming it's been caused by their Agent Orange exposure.
Okay.
And that's a benefit because for years they denied the existence of Agent Orange.
I know.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
That's
And when a veteran has an active recognized cancer, they're at 100% while that cancer is active, and then once the cancer goes into remission, they can drop that rating back down to 0%.
Wow.
And they're only rated based on whether or not they have any residual issues from the treatment of that cancer.
Sounds like a lot of paperwork and a lot of.
You mentioned earlier that when they come in to meet with you, what kind of paperwork should they bring if they're coming? Because we have listeners, I'm sure, that will hopefully call and start working with you since they've heard this.
Discharge notice.
Right.
Aside from a 214.
Yes, the first thing is their DD 214 discharge document. That is the key piece. We have to have that. If they can't find their DD 214 discharge, then we can assist them in applying to the National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis to obtain a copy.
Oh my gosh.
But nothing happens till that copy shows up.
Yeah, that takes probably too long. You don't have access to the database yourself to verify stuff? So the technology is there, but the money isn't there to hook it all up.
Well, you got to remember, and again, Anita, I'm not cutting in on you, but you got to remember a lot of this paperwork goes back 40, 50 years before computers and before all this stuff.
I understand, but
so they got to do it by hand, and you got millions upon millions of files.
Well, the people that have passed, we don't have to worry about. But anybody on the right side of the grass, we should digitize that, and so when they come to, they know it.
Unfortunately, Veterans Department has traditionally never been a large receiver of funds from the federal government. They've been shortchanged much too often. Am I right, Anita?
Yeah, correct.
I'm not going to get you in trouble.
Anybody? No, you're fine. Anybody that's been in within the past like 20 years, their records are digitized.
Right. Okay.
So we can request through the DPRIS system to try and get that discharge if it's available. But anybody prior to 20 years before, if they don't have that discharge, we have to request it from the National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis.
So basically 2000 was the cutoff point.
Yeah, just about.
Before 2000, which means all the Vietnam War veterans.
I retired from the military prior to 2000, so therefore my paperwork is not digitized.
No.
They'd have to go find it if I lose it. And then my wife would hunt for my head if I lost it. So.
Well, you've got that in the safety
So
deposit
anyway,
box,
we interrupted
sure.
you explaining some of the things you were
go
doing.
ahead.
And I
I'm sorry,
apologize.
Anita.
That's okay, no problem. The next presumptive conditions for Gulf War veterans are those who served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations. If their illness did not appear during active duty, that it must have existed for 6 months or more and be at least 10% disabling by December 31st of this year. Included are medically unexplained chronic multi-symptom illnesses defined by a cluster of signs or symptoms such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, functional gastrointestinal disorders like irritable bowel syndrome, and other undiagnosed illnesses, including but not limited to cardiovascular disease, muscle and joint pain, and headaches. Also, the VA just added asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis on a presumptive basis based on presumed particulate matter exposure during military service in Southwest Asia and certain other areas, if these conditions manifested within 10 years of a qualifying period of military service.
Mm-hmm.
The next one are for Camp Lejeune water contamination presumptive conditions. Those are for Marines who served no less than 30 days at Camp Lejeune between August 1st of 1953 through December 31st of 1987. The recognized presumptive conditions for these veterans are adult leukemia, aplastic anemia, and other myelodysplastic syndromes, bladder cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and Parkinson's disease. And that was from the water contamination that occurred there at the base. And then the last presumptive condition I'll mention tonight is for all veterans. Any veteran with 90 days or more of continuous active military service, if they develop ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, they can get that condition recognized by VA as a presumptive disability based on their length of service. And then the next program I was going to talk to you about tonight that we assist with a lot is the pension program, which is an income and net worth-based program at and below poverty levels for veterans who served during a wartime period and were other than dishonorably discharged. Prior to age 65, the veteran must be permanently and totally disabled. After age 65, no disability is required. The household net worth must be at or below $130,773, and VA has started doing a 3-year look back to ensure assets have not been transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The VA does not count their primary residence in the net worth factor, as they need to have somewhere to live. This program also has benefits for the surviving spouses of war veterans, but at much lower rates. Their income from all sources is counted, but what they pay out of pocket for in medical expenses and don't receive any reimbursement for can be used to reduce their income in the VA's eyes. There's 3 different basic income levels with regards to pension purposes, which is there's a basic level, there's a housebound level, and then there's an aid and attendance level. And this program can be very beneficial for veterans or widows who are in nursing homes or paying.
Cut you again.
Mm-hmm.
Explain a little difference between housebound and aid. There's a thing I'm not
Somebody
sure everybody would
lives
understand.
there, I guess, or comes in to help.
Basically, housebound, they can't get out of the house without the assistance of another person. They have to have someone drive them for medical appointments or to get what they need outside of the home. And aid and attendance is basically where they're needing assistance, bathing, dressing, medication management, meal preparation, toiletry assistance, that sort of thing. They're pretty much, I don't want to say completely bedbound, but
yeah, understand.
They need assistance with their activities of daily living.
Is the amount that they receive predicated upon their rank in the military, or does everybody get the same?
No, it's not. Everybody, with regards to the improved pension, gets the same. There was a 306 pension, which was different, but majority of everybody we deal with in this day and age, no one is still on the 306 pension.
How much money are we talking about?
For a veteran, hang on just one second. For a single veteran, the basic rate for pension only allows an annual income of $13,931. If the veteran is married, $18,243. The housebound rate for a single veteran, $17,024. For a married veteran who's housebound, $21,337. And then for the aid and attendance rating, a single veteran, $23,238. And then for a veteran with a spouse, $27,549.
And so everybody at each one of these.
Coming in,
go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. Any money they have coming into the household counts against that figure, but then anything they pay out of pocket medical expense wise, it can be used to reduce their income, like Medicare premiums, the supplemental health insurance premium, co-payments to doctors, hospitals, prescription medications, over-the-counter medications that typically a doctor would recommend or prescribe, all of those. There's 5% of the basic pension rate that the VA says the veteran has to pay for each year. And once you take that off the top of it, anything they spend medical expense-wise over that is what VA uses to reduce their income. And as long as they bring their income below that pension limit, VA would reimburse them back up to that pension limit.
Anita, how do you help the homeless veterans who they're out there, they're all over the place. We see them. I know that First Fruit works with them. I know that the coalition in Brunswick down in Shiloh works with them too. How do you get them into what they need? That's a hard question. How do you find them? Let's put it that way.
Well, we generally they're referred to us by the Homeless Coalition,
Okay.
or
Social
the
workers.
different veterans posts. Yeah. And basically, we're just trying to assist them in seeing if they're eligible for any VA benefits, and if they are truly meet the VA's definition of homeless, then we put them in contact with the VA homeless social worker there in Wilmington. And Kathy Litch, the director for social services here in Brunswick County and over public housing, was able to get some HUD-VASH vouchers in our area finally after years. She was able to get some, and so those have helped a lot of the homeless veterans in our area.
That's a good thing.
The problem is finding, low income housing, which is difficult here in Brunswick
nearly
County.
impossible. Yeah. I was wondering, those numbers that you gave before are the breakpoints. Is that what they receive, or that's what the total income that they get from whatever source, if they're working or not working? Well,
That's
if they're
total income
homebound.
from every place. It's total income.
But they don't get a check in the mail every Monday or something, do they? They don't get any cash.
If they bring their income below the pension limit, then yes, VA would pay them a monthly check depending upon how much they're bringing their income below that pension limit. If a veteran, like I've had some veterans who their only income is Social Security,
right?
But their Social Security income is below the basic pension limit.
Mm-hmm.
Once they turn 65, we can apply and get them the pension program, and VA pays them. It supplements their Social Security income up to what the VA pension limit is that they qualify for. And like say someone is paying for in-home health care or is in a nursing home,
right,
and they're completely wiping out their income, then like
and their
say
assets? And their assets
their assets have to be at or below 130,773 for the year.
Okay.
If their assets are over that, then VA's not going to allow them to
be reimbursed.
Go on the pension program. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot of hurdles here.
Because the pension program is just to help them get by. It's not to help maintain the net worth.
Okay.
Okay.
Going to ask you to keep moving on because we've got about 5 minutes left and we want to cover as much as we can.
Please.
Oh, sure.
And we're the reason you're not finishing
because
you want to.
You got some great
but keep rolling.
information, and I wanted to get it out for people who are listening and might fit their profile. And hey, that'll work for me.
Yep.
And let's call up Anita.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're there for. Okay, so basically that's the pension program, and then the last benefit is about VA health care. Veterans are eligible to apply for VA health care. However, there are 8 basic priority groups for eligibility. And these groups are based upon whether the veteran has a service-connected disability, received a Purple Heart, was a prisoner of war or Medal of Honor recipient, or if they served in designated combat areas during specified periods. And if the veteran doesn't meet any of those requirements, then it's based upon the veteran's household income for the previous calendar year. So for right now, a single veteran with a relaxed threshold, their income has to be at or below $38,078 per year if they don't meet any of the other requirements. And if they're a married veteran, it has to be $45,693. And of course, to apply, the veteran has to complete a 1010EZ health benefit application form and submit it with a copy of their DD-214 military discharge document to the VA clinic. The VA Medical Center in Fayetteville provides the Brunswick community-based outpatient clinic, which is here in Supply, for veterans to be seen and treated for their medical needs. For any services that clinic cannot provide, then the veteran is sent to for care at the Wilmington VA Healthcare Center. And then also I just wanted to add that the VA has released their fiscal year 2020 geographic distribution of expenditures, and the VA paid out $142,416,000 in various benefits to the veterans and their family members here in Brunswick County. And of that, $91,942,000 was paid just in compensation and pension benefits alone. So as you can see, our office is helping to make a positive difference in the lives of those we serve.
I think that's worth saying again, people.
Yeah.
The $148 million has come to help the people in our county from the work that this lady and her staff does. So that's something to be applauded. Thank you.
Could you tell me the difference between TriStar?
TriCare.
Huh?
TriCare.
TriCare. You have to be
TRICARE
a 20-year veteran or something to get that, right?
You got to be retired.
It's TRICARE or medically retired out, yes. You're active duty or you are retired out with 20 years or more or medically retired out of the military in order to get TRICARE. Yeah.
20 years active duty.
Or a combination of active and reserve.
Unless you were medically.
And reserve.
Yeah.
Combination of both.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
SERVE. Yep. Reserve. I got it.
Gotcha. Okay. Back to you, Anita.
Okay. So basically, for any services not provided by our office or by the VA, we refer clients to the local agencies and organizations within our community that may be able to assist our clients. And I was also just going to let you guys know that our office assists with the Veterans Experience Action Center event, also known as the VAC, that's hosted by the American Legion. The event had to be canceled last year due to COVID, but has been rescheduled to September 23rd, 24th, and 25th at the American Legion Post 10 in Wilmington. This event assists veterans in applying for VA benefits and assists with clearing up any issues they may have with pending claims. As VA raters from the Winston-Salem VA Regional Office will be at the event to work veterans' claims. The American Legion is working to get this event publicized, and not only do we have veterans from our area and across North Carolina attend the event, but veterans from other states have also attended to seek assistance with their VA claims.
So I think that's worth saying again.
Yeah,
September 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
September 20. Yes, sir. Yep, at the American Legion Post 10 in Wilmington.
And that's just
open to all veterans.
And that's a regular time day, 9 to 5 or whatever?
Yeah. Technically, we open it at 9. Sometimes we open, we let veterans in before then, but the official start time is 9. And then they generally cut off about 3 o'clock and not let anybody else in that day so that we can try and get out of there by
in short, veterans, if you've got something you want to look at, here's the place to go, which is on the 23rd, 24th, 25th September.
American
Beyond
Legion
that,
Post 10.
Anita, if they wanted to get in touch with your headquarters and set up an appointment, how would they do that?
Yes. Our office number is 910-253-2233. And they can call us to see about scheduling an appointment. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank all our veterans and for your service and dedication to our country. My prayer is that all veterans have found this information helpful and that we can assist them in any way for them to please call our office.
And in summary, if you hear something else and there's something else you need to say, please get in touch with us and come back on the air with us, because what you do is
keep
important.
Us updated. Mm-hmm.
What you do is important for our visit and for everything you do. So thank you for what you do, and please come back and talk to us again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on the program tonight and share this information. I greatly appreciate it.
And we appreciate you. Well, thank you from all Things Brunswick.
Very good.
Time to pay a few bills.
Thank you.
I'm Jason Gaver, and I'm running for Leland Town Council because Leland is where my wife and I are raising our daughter. I have a clear vision for Leland's future, keeping taxes as low as possible, spending every dollar wisely, focusing on core priorities like infrastructure and public safety, planning for future growth. I'm ready to serve, and I ask for your support. If you have questions or would like to learn more, please visit jasongaver.com. Paid for by the Committee to Elect Jason Gaver.
Have you heard about Cape Fear's only fitness community exclusively for those over 50? At Full Circle Fitness, we understand that goals, lifestyles, and our bodies change through the decades, which is why our Living Fit After 50 is custom designed to help you get a safe, effective workout without spending hours in the gym. Get started today. Call 910-399-8350 or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
Hey there, it's Charlie Miller, your state representative for Brunswick and New Hanover counties. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check out my Facebook page, Representative Charlie Miller, to stay up to date on everything that's happening in the state legislature. You can also sign up for my weekly legislative newsletter to receive a more detailed report on how the voices of District 19 are being heard in Raleigh. If my office can be of any assistance to you, please reach out at 919-733-6753. Paid for by the committee to elect Charlie Miller for NC House.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com. Welcome back as we quickly wind up. Joe, what's going on next?
Well, to all my fans, I won't be here, but who will be here? Dr. Rosemary Stein, a pediatrician who with her husband, helps people both medical and behavioral issues with children. She'll speak on the COVID-19 and masks and related to children. Also, Dr. Tony Maglione will be here, the cardiologist that you just heard about him a little while ago. And he'll talk about spiritual, physical, and mental wellness. So see you.
Thank you for All Things Brunswick. See you in a week.
Bye.
Bringing you the best local talk radio shows, Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, WFBT, Carolina Beach.